Fourth down.
You telling me a head coach of the New York Giants was being monitored like a 15-year-old? We celebrated the fact that Brian Daboll got kicked out of New York, and really, it has a lot to do with the fact that you handpicked a quarterback, right? A young quarterback that you decided to run into the ground in desperation to save your own ass. Oh man, Brian Daboll. It would really suck if somebody leaked some anonymous reports about you, right? Right after you just became unemployed and as you're seeking for new jobs. You know, the Giants reportedly gave up on Shedeur Sanders because he was unprepared for a meeting and Daboll called him out. Remember the Giants one? They give players an install and they intentionally put mistakes in the install. They said he didn't call it. He got called on it. He got called out. He got mad, and Brian Daboll called him out. Now, from the new reports that we're getting, now that Brian Daboll has been shamelessly fired, right, for taking his handpicked quarterback and ramming him to a wall. Don't worry, the rest of this video is a Jameis Winston video. I'm gonna say that. Now I had to record this and add this to the video. Now we're getting leaks that Brian Daboll was too emotional for the position. He was out having these awful emotional outbursts. Now that's something that we should know because he's been on the sideline, right, acting like a little kid when people go into blue tents, breaking the rules of the NFL, making a big deal, throwing his headset all around. You know, a very mature head coach, right? Very calm and cool on the sideline, right? Oh, he aggressively puts his headset on. Well, apparently getting fined $100,000, right, and acting like a little girl on the sideline, it's not enough for him. Because ESPN reporting, Jordan Ron spoke to the Giants player who described an instance of Daboll exploding and threatening to take away play calling from an assistant head coach, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. Oh, does that happen to be the head coach right now, the interim head coach? Okay, after tight end Theo Johnson dropped a crucial third down pass downfield against the Eagles, but it goes in even detail because now we're getting leaks from 2011, right? Going on with that article, the same fire in motion that would become problematic as things went down south. There was the time when he flipped a tablet at quarterback Daniel Jones. Actually, I remember that. And now Daniel Jones is lighting it up in Indianapolis. Interesting. Great job, Brian Daboll. There was the sideline berating of defensive coordinator Wink Martindale that extended to in and out of the locker room at halftime with 2023 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. The constant explosions even led to Shonen listening in on the headset during game to make sure Daboll was communicating effectively. Oh man, Brian Daboll, don't tell me your boss had to listen in on the communications. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this video, this is a compilation of some of my videos from the previous year. I'm taking a very important break for some very important people, but when we get back, we'll be back to NIL news, everything Shedeur Sanders, and all crazy stories when it comes to football. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your video. Subscribe if you're new here. You'll be great. Oh man, you telling me a head coach of the New York Giants was being monitored like a pestilent 15-year-old, right? Who can't control his emotions, that needs to have his communication monitored by real adults? Dang, man. That sucks, dog. Right? The constant supposed to lead to Shonen listening in on the call, effective coaching. Heck, Daboll was even caught on camera giving special teams coordinator Thomas McGarty a death stare during a preseason game early in his tenure. This season alone, there were the weekly sideline tirades, a hate challenge following a tush-push non-fumble earlier this month, and illegally running into the blue medical tent, and we already talked about that. We already looked at that. Mara had to release a statement condemning Daboll's actions following the Giants' biggest win since Daboll's first season. One player recently told ESPN that Daboll exploding, and we kind of talked about that, right? Now, it doesn't stop there because here is some more excerpts from 2011, right? Several Browns players recalled a meeting in early 2010 season in which Daboll told Colt McCoy, I just watched tape of your last college game and you were terrible. What the hell were you throwing out there? Not my man, Colt McCoy. Nah, man. Hold up. Let me switch my hat real quick. Let me find out you talk crazy about Colt McCoy. Let me find out you talk crazy about my dude Colt McCoy. Let me put my Texans Longhorns hat on real quick. You talk bad about my man Colt McCoy? See, now I got a personal problem. You leak stuff about Shedeur? I don't like it, man. You a real greasy fellow, man. But hey, it's the business, and clearly your business was making sure you had a quarterback that you could successfully run quarterback power 17 times a game with, right? And I'll give it to you, Brian Daboll. Shedeur doesn't have that. That's what you were looking for in a quarterback. Can I get a Josh Allen that's a little less talented? Now, who knows? Jackson Dart might be more talented, but definitely a lot lighter, right? Tell him about the 15 concussions he had this season, right, Brian? You did that to the quarterback you chose. But don't you dare talk about Colt. Don't you dare talk about Mac Brown's sweet baby boy. Don't do it. Now we've crossed the line. All right? Why the F did we draft you? Daboll thought a Dolphin spokesman said he did not recall ever having said those things to McCoy. Of course he says that. I remember Daboll yelling into Colt's headset when he was the scout team quarterback in the 2-minute drill when they were servicing us. Recalls veteran linebacker Scott Fujita. Daboll was talking into the microphone, very animated. I looked at Colt and he said he does that all the time. He constantly cusses at me in the headset, says a Cleveland offensive player. It happened all the time. Running scout team, you basically look at a play card in the huddle and run the play. It's not like there's a lot of gray area. And still, Daboll would lose it. Damn. And great, he did a bunch of winning too, right? I hate it had to be you. Not really. Not really. This is what happens when you do these types of things. Now, a multiple Super Bowl champion, national champion, is being disparaged and talked crazy. But if you're going to leak things, if you're going to say things that I still have not been able to verify, y'all better release them tapes, dog. You want me to think the same person who yelled at Colt McCoy couldn't hurt a fly. You're telling me that same person, you want me to think that he had a positive attitude with Shedeur? You want me to think that Shedeur had a fair stance to ground or ground to stand on if he didn't come in there sucking Brian Daboll's cock off? That's what he wanted. And you can see it because it's been reported. That sucks. I hate it had to be you, Brian. The one of 4 concussions this season, playing 7 games. You made a big deal about going into the tent and getting a $100,000 fine. And oh my God, I don't want Russell Wilson out there. Well, you know who should have been out there the entire time is this man right here, Jameis Winston. Now, sadly, because of Brian Daboll's recklessness and not being able to tell quarterbacks and teach quarterbacks how to properly protect themselves, right? Jackson Dart, the young gun, who again, every video I talk about Jackson Dart, hey, I was wrong about him. I don't believe in Ole Miss quarterbacks. Got to believe in this kid because he's a baller, right? Sadly, he's in concussion protocol because of the coach that they just recently fired, right? So Jameis Winston has to step up and do his big one. And if you're a Browns fan, you know about Jameis Winston. If you're a Florida State fan, you know about Jameis Winston. If you're a Buccaneers fan, you have nightmares about Jameis Winston. But it don't really matter because Jameis Winston is the most likable person in the entire league. I mean, look at what he was doing, finally getting his start.
Finally made it. Huh? Finally made it. What was your?
I mean, just everything he does is just it's just it's just awesome. Today's gonna be a feel-good video. We're gonna listen to Jameis Winston, of course, talk about being the starter for this week, and then we're gonna go through some of his best moments as well, and then speak about what I think he can do for the Giants offense, who's gonna be missing a young star in Jackson Dart. Any Hamilton fans out there?
I want fans to know that I'm going to do my best. You know, obviously I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to execute, have a surgical execution, and just play ball, man. Like, this is something I've been doing since I've been 4 years old. Now I just get to do it in the greatest city in the world. I'm going to be saying it with my son. It's the greatest city in the world. Yeah, that's a Hamilton reference if y'all don't know. Yeah, 10-year reunion.
I just, you know, the same reason why I like Shedeur Sanders is the same reason why I love me some Jameis Winston. Like, he is just a beacon of happiness and smiles, God-fearing man who doesn't matter what situation he's in, he's wanting to uplift people, right? He's been a career backup, and I gotta be honest with you, ever since Jameis Winston became a backup, I don't think he's ever been happier. I feel like the smiles have been bigger when he gets his opportunity. He plays, and he is always uplifting people on the sideline. And here's Jackson Dart attesting to how important someone like Jameis Winston is in the locker room.
How do you view his role? Because it's not always that common that you have two veterans, right? Mm-hmm. And someone who has accomplished, started a lot of games
right.
as kind of the third stringer, knowing that, he's the emergency quarterback on game day, but how do you view his role?
He's
the way he interacts with you in that regard.
Yeah, he's like a coach on the field, in the film room when we spend extra time. He's a lot of times just quizzing me constantly. He's teaching me things that he's gone through in his past, and at the same time, our relationship goes far beyond just the football field and the personal life, and handling things that you do good, things that you need to improve on. So, like you said, it's very unique to have those two guys, and for the team, he brings so much energy and optimism and positivity every single day. He's a guy that never wavers regardless of what's going on around him. So it's been a blessing to have him in my corner for sure.
And, I'm very happy that the young man Jackson Dart said that, because, we're going to get into some funny moments, and we're also going to, watch some things, him basically addressing being the starter and stuff like that. Before we do that, I do want to get into some very, very hilarious moments with Jameis Winston. But before we get into funnies and hee-hee and ha-has, I want to stress this, that Jameis Winston's career is one filled with adversity, and this is going back to his FSU days. Everybody knows about the crab leg situation and that whole craziness, and all right, him going out when he wasn't supposed to come out in Florida State in his full gear. Jimbo Fisher sent them packing. There's a lot that's going on, or the lot that rather Jameis Winston has gone through in his career. The fact that he's only gotten more outspoken with his faith. Now, whether you're a religious person, I'm not pushing that on you, but I think it's important with whatever you believe in, that you believe it loudly, you believe it proudly, and you believe it unwaveringly. So he's been louder with his faith, but not only his faith, just the optimism. It's one thing to just be a Bible thumper, but to be able to continuously add smiles to people's lives, to continuously add positivities to people's lives is something that cannot be understated. In the world that we live in, whether you feel like we're in the best times, the worst times, the left times, there are times when the days gets a little darker, right? The days get a little colder, right? The sun isn't shining all the time. There are going to be days where you feel bad. When you put someone like Jameis Winston, right? This goes beyond just the football field. This goes beyond just saying some personal things. This is somebody who instills a level of energy, a level of amazingness, a level of, hey man, I think it's going to be okay. I think the sun will come out tomorrow when someone like Jameis Winston is giving you speeches like this. You know what I mean?
It's too beautiful out here to waste an opportunity. Come ahead, set the tone for the first snap. Simple ahead. Let's go. Let's fight for each other. Here we go. Giants on 3. 1, 2, 3, stop. Come on. Twitch monster. Hey, yo, it ain't no magical formula. Physicality, confidence, and togetherness. Hey, let me ask y'all who is. Who are we? We are the New York Football Giants, and we came today to go to war. I don't know what y'all doing, but I want some of that popcorn that y'all selling. Because I know you got the fans out here eating a lot of popcorn. Go and shine, man. Come on.
And just constantly uplifting the young guns. I want y'all to know, and this is who Jameis Winston is, by the way. I want y'all to know. Look, you gotta pay attention. On the crutches, boy, on the crutches. Hey, at the end of live, there, Jameis dancing, boy. I mean, yo, this is one of the funniest moments in NFL history, dog. Nobody was expecting this, dog. Nobody. And at every single turn, he finds ways to just be not only positive, but a national treasure. Let's hear it.
Whether weather conditions tonight. We're expecting winds up to 15 miles per hour in a wintry mix. How will that impact your ability to throw the ball?
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather in Cleveland, Ohio at Huntington Bank Field today to give him the glory. It's a beautiful day. Let it snow, let it snow.
I don't know how you hate Jameis Winston, man. Unless you look at Jerry Jeudy, he can't stop smiling. I don't know, man. I don't know how you hate a man like Jameis Winston. And this one, this one is a very infamous. This is after the. I'm gonna start crying, laughing. All right. This is an elite meme that is not used, but this is the origins of the meme. So if you don't know the origins of I'm gonna stand by him, I'm gonna lift him up. So the media was asking Jameis Winston, he got hurt, and obviously he got hurt. People were cheering him getting hurt. Cleveland Browns, obviously because he's Deshaun Watson, yada yada yada, right? And of course, look. And that's the thing about Jameis Winston. It don't matter what you look like. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter who your history is. He's a God-fearing man that believes that. Well, go ahead. Take it away.
Every single day, regardless of your perception, regardless of what you thought should happen with him, he committed every single day that I've been here to be the best that he can be for this team. And I know I come from the deep South. Birmingham, Alabama, Bessemer, Alabama. So I know the standard that hungry fans want. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down.
So that's not the full thing, and my fault. It's actually Jameis Winston on taking QB2 job from Russell Wilson. But Oh no. Okay, so they redid. This is the Browns, the Deshaun Watson thing. We're missing the. Let me find it. I want to find them. All right, I found it. Cleveland Browns fans quarterback reacts to the fans booing Deshaun Watson after it. So here it is. Let's. They hit me with an ad. Don't hit me with no ads. We don't. Hold on.
I want the treatment that Deshaun Watson has received from these passionate fans. I know you love this game. When I first got here, I knew these were some amazing fans. But Deshaun was treated badly. And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works. And I know who he is as a person and as an NFL quarterback. And that's all I have to say to address him.
Okay, this is the greatest moment in just of all time. Like and some people can, whether you like Deshaun Watson or you don't like Deshaun Watson, one thing that you can't deny is that's hilarious, right? And from a principled standpoint, right, some people would argue that celebrating somebody's injury is too far. Right, but at the same time, Jameis, they're celebrating because of the nasty things he's done to women. But hey, Jameis don't care if you a crab or if you a Deshaun Watson. He gonna support you and he gonna lift him up, man. And this is, a beautiful thing and just some more funny moments.
What's that? 180. What's that? 180. What's that? Yeah. 180! What's that? Hut! Turbo, what's that? Somebody jump off sides, damn!
Somebody jump off sides, damn. I think that Turbo's in, hut! Man, shut up, Jameis. Jameis Winston is, by all intents and purposes, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever breathe there. I gotta be
The message is simple. Be obsessed with your opportunity. Yeah. All of us that came from wherever we from. Right here, we got right now. So be obsessed with your opportunity. I got one thing for y'all, man. I just want y'all to help me out because I know we're a team, all right? I had this in my dream, all right? All right, when I say where my dogs at, y'all say we ready, all right? Where my dogs at? We ready. When I say where my dogs at, y'all say we ready, all right? Where my dogs at? We ready. Now I'm about to spell the Browns out. I know we one team, man, okay? I'm going to spell the Browns out. And we gonna say, let's get it. We're gonna be R-O-W-N. Let's get it.
Like, it don't matter if you're the starting quarterback, the backup quarterback, the third string quarterback. Everybody wants to eat W's. Everybody wants to eat W's with old Jameis Winston. Now, I do want to point out some things. In 3 career games versus the Green Bay Packers, and he is going to be playing the Green Bay Packers this Sunday, he has 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 123.3 QBR. That's the second highest of his career against any opponent. So if there is a team that should fear Jameis Winston and him eating W's, it is the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, that's when Jameis Winston starts, phenomenal things happen. So please be on the lookout. But if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you didn't, dislike it. Subscribe if you like football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, and fashion.
Is this sustainable? I mean, he's not 250 pounds, and this hits that he's taken, they've clearly taken a toll to the point where now he's got a concussion and is going to miss time.
Get them all out, everybody.
You better hope Shedeur literally starts drop kicking babies. The Giants do something that the Browns probably should have done a few seasons ago. Brian Daboll is out. Ding dong, the witch is gone. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know I have a special layer of hatred for Brian Daboll. But then the hatred turned from that to just watching him be terrible at coaching. You handpicked Jackson Dart. You put Jackson Dart out there and rammed him into NFL defenders, causing him have 4 different concussion events, right? And you did that to save your own ass, Brian Daboll, right? Because with Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, right? With Daniel Jones, who looks like the second coming of Jesus in Indiana, right? You couldn't put it together. You were the offensive guru that couldn't get anything done. And then you take an Ole Miss quarterback known for his success in RPOs, you simplify the offense into a college offense, and you run Jackson Dart into the ground. Merry Christmas, Giants fans. But that's what happens when these types of people, right, are allowed a long list. The same type of person that will say nasty things about Shedeur Sanders and leak it, right? And we're going to get to that. But y'all should have known. Why would a head coach leak some things like that if he's dapping Shedeur up? Well, why would a coach that went 9-7 in 2022, 6-11 in 2023, 3-14 in 2024, and now 2-8 in 2025? Why would you think he could do anything? Why would you trust anything that comes out of the Giants organization? I told y'all that, and they called me a crazy Shedeur fan, man. Like I don't watch football. Like I don't know the history of the Giants organization. Like I don't know the history of this man who was a well-renowned offensive guru, right? Well, my God, why are the best players on defense for the Giants for the last 5 years, huh? Well, don't worry about it. You're gone. You're out of a job. All right? The Browns lose to a 1-win Jets, and everyone keeps their job. 0 accountability in Cleveland. This is a twofer. We're going to have a section talking about what Brian Daboll did to Shedeur. But we're also going to talk about the fact that the Browns, are you listening? This needs to be y'all next. I need to see Kevin Stefanski on a t-shirt, right? A fire t-shirt, not like that. You get what I'm saying, right? For the 3rd straight year, the Giants are 2-8. They've blown 4 double-digit leads and 4 road losses. Their prized rookie quarterback has been evaluated for 4 concussions, and their star wide receiver and running back are out for the season due to knee injuries. Damn, man. Wow. It's almost like all them theatrics you did trying to get him out there. Well, yeah, and that's why, hey, take that $100,000 fine, Brian Daboll. I had never seen nothing like this in my life. Brian Daboll's coaching career, his head coaching career, was on the line with Jackson Dart. He knew that's the only offense I could run. I can't find a way to make Russell Wilson a reasonable quarterback. I can't find a way to call plays for Jameis Winston and make that reasonable and win some games. No, I need to sacrifice these young legs. I need to give Jackson Dart as much CTE as possible to just hope and pray to God I keep my job. Well, Merry Christmas, Brian Daboll. I said you were getting fired yesterday. Call me a prophet or call me someone who's been watching football for more than 3 years. Right? And this is what the league is. People try to tell me, well, the league is, the NFL is the ultimate meritocracy. Nothing weird could ever happen with then why allow this bullshit? Brian Daboll's Giants tenure, longest losing streak in Giants history, longest home losing streak in Giants history, longest road losing streak in Giants history. Wow, I sound like a broken record. Worst home record in Giants history in 2024, 5-17-1 versus the NFC East. And the Browns, are y'all listening? The Browns are 0-5 at home or at away, and the Browns just lost a legitimate it was a historical loss. The Jets had never had back-to-back kick return touchdowns. No team had lost the way that they lost in the fashion that they lost. And I don't know how many quarterbacks have thrown for 54 yards and still beat a team, but Merry Christmas, Browns. As embarrassing as this is, as spineless as Brian Daboll is, for putting a rookie out there to smash his head against NFL players, and possibly ruin the rest of his development, right? For all my Jackson Dart fans. And I told, hey, Jackson Dart's a baller. I was wrong about Ole Miss quarterbacks. I saw the Matt Corrals, and I just assumed, hey, Lane Kiffin cannot develop a quarterback. Maybe he got himself one in Jackson Dart, but I don't think if anybody's going to get to know that. I don't know, because the next regime, who knows? Now, I think everyone's going to like Jackson Dart. But are they going to have the capabilities to maximize Jackson Dart? Cam Scadaboo's ankles turned the wrong way, and that's not Brian Daboll's fault. Malik Neighbors' knee exploded. Now, I'm not sure if that was on the Giants' turf, but we know what MetLife does to people's knees. So it's a lot of predictability here. A lot of it. And when you have somebody like this who has to deal with their guy, the quarterback that's supposed to save them, this is what he had to say.
Brian, I mean, is this sustainable, the way that he's playing? I know you don't want to
no.
his competitiveness and you love his fire and all that stuff, but I mean, he's not 250 pounds, and this hits that he's taken, they've clearly taken a toll to the point where now he's got a concussion and is going to miss time.
Look, I'm not sure exactly the play that had happened, Connor, so I'm concerned for the kid.
Sure.
I don't know the exact play that it happened for him.
Yeah.
Relative to getting hurt or not getting hurt, but I don't know the play. I don't know the play. I don't know when it was. I mean, I just know that when he was going back out there, we were sitting around the huddle. I saw him. I got Ronnie over there to check him out.
Yeah, man. So if you want to know the real reporting here, there were multiple plays where Jackson Dart probably should have got pulled off the field, but because Brian Daboll was coaching for his career, and it didn't work. Well, you tried to sacrifice, and this is what I mean, because we're gonna get into the Shedeur Sanders part of this video, and not to say that this is some sort of victory lap, but it's a victory lap of what I told y'all at the time. And I told y'all, don't believe anything y'all hear in the draft. It's a bunch of lies. There are lies on both sides to make things seem a certain way. But somebody as spineless as Brian Daboll, right? Somebody who his own guy that he loved, Jackson, hey, that's your guy. You're jumping in tents and getting fined because we gotta make sure Russell Wilson can't play anymore, right? I just need Jackson Dart out there to do what? To give him more CTE? To not protect your guy? That's how you coach when you know your back's against the wall. The most dangerous thing in the world is an animal with its back against the wall. It will get feral. It will do whatever it needs to do to survive. Brian Daboll has been in survive mode for the last 2 years and thought Jackson Dart was the answer to save his mediocre career. But here we are. And you know what didn't save your career? You know what's probably not gonna look great now? You better pray to God Shedeur Sanders is the most ignorant person. You better hope Shedeur literally starts drop kicking babies, because what you reported on him after, remember, everything was sweet. It was all good just a few months ago, right? You feel me? You feel me? It was all cool. It was all crispy. Everything was good until the leaks came from the Giants organization. And do you remember what it was?
Was there any breaking news?
Right.
Nothing breaking, but I'm starting. I read a couple people are like, Shedeur is in play at number 3. Shedeur's not in play at 3. Shedeur's not in play with the New York Giants, as far as I'm told. Shedeur didn't have a great interview with Brian Daboll in a private visit. An install package came in. The preparation wasn't there for it. Got called out on it. Didn't like that. Brian didn't appreciate him not liking it. I've said this before, and it started at the Combine, and a couple days after the Combine, I don't like saying report. Like, we don't report anything. I shared information that I got that I know if I'm getting it, that information people that are in this business that are really great at their job and talking to a lot of the same people I'm talking to, and probably more. I know more. I was surprised it wasn't being talked about. That Shedeur Sanders, I told you, if you've been following the show from the beginning, I told you there were 2 personnel people that I spoke to who were in the room during interviews, which means they're key parts of the organization. Let's leave it at that. 2 teams drafting in the top 10 with quarterback needs where the interviews did not go well. Not disrespectful, nothing harsh, just felt like the phrase I've been using, and I think it aptly describes it. We didn't get the sense that Shedeur cared all that much about what we thought of him.
So I want y'all to remember, the biggest sin that Shedeur did was not grovel to Brian Daboll, was not grovel to the other people in that same room. I want that to be clear. I am a Shedeur fan, but I agree. I think this really happened. I am of the opinion that what Todd McShay is talking about, this really happened. Now, who leaked that from the Giants, that's a little different. Who, and again, if you're listening closely, a private interview. Now, some people have talked about the fact that, hey, Shedeur Sanders is so cool as a cucumber that it rubs people the wrong way. Remember in that same reporting, if you go, we've talked about it 1,000 times, but one of those executives says, Shedeur Sanders made me feel small. I want y'all to understand, this was all about ideologies. This was all about Shedeur Sanders not fitting the mold that they thought. Jackson Dart, good old American Utah boy, he's got a little bit of swagger, but it doesn't upset the wrong people. When Shedeur Sanders walks in the room, all with his confidence, not knowing, do you know who my father is? And I don't mean that to say, F y'all, I mean, why would I be impressed by you? Why? Brian Daboll, what have you done in the NFL as a head coach for me to get in this room as the Giants and think anything else except I'm your savior? You know why? Because you tried to use Jackson Dart as your savior. The proof's in the pudding. You sacrificed Jackson Dart. Merry Christmas, 4 concussions. Somebody who, the biggest Jackson Dart pre-draft hater right here, I'm saying, hey, he's a baller. You might want to hold on to him. You might want to not ram him into people. Maybe teach him how to protect himself. Instead of just headbutting each other and, oh my God, scattaboo, we're the crazy white people that have a great time. Well, now you ain't got a job. And I didn't say that. Will Compton said that. Will Compton said, oh my God, scattaboo and Jackson Dart, the white people are saving. That's what they say. I didn't say that. I'm Team Jackson Dart now. That boy is nice. I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to keep saying I'm wrong to the day I die. Hey, I was wrong about Jackson Dart, but I don't know how wrong because his head might be a bowl of mashed potatoes now that Brian Daboll's done with him. So that same man who threw his savior to the wolves, just so happened in a private interview, because I want to make sure, because he doesn't go into detail. The truth of the matter is Brian Daboll didn't just do an install. He does these cute little things where he likes to put something wrong in the install and see if you can figure it out. Some people might say, hey, you know, Shedeur should have took it as a job interview. He should have really got in there and been a small guy and really compressed his confidence to make sure that he could be more applicable to the Giants, right? But then I ask you, why? Why? So he could get thrown to the wolves? So Brian Daboll can be fired in the middle of the season and they win 2 games? Is that what you want me to think? Or maybe God does have a chosen people. And I don't like getting into all this. But hey, maybe the greatest thing for Shedeur is not going to this dumpster fire, who now they need to have a new head coach who might not believe in Jackson Dart, who might not have the offense to believe in Jackson Dart. Now, this beautiful, bright career that white America had for Jackson Dart, hey, a white man messed it up. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. Yeah, y'all could have had the next great white hope, but you messed it up. Brian Daboll, huh? The same dude who's setting up rookies in pre-interview drafts. The same one who allowed leaks to go out saying that this 23-year-old is making me feel small. He's not acting like he... Do you know we're in the NFL? Do you know you're supposed to grovel to us and act like we're the greatest thing ever? No, because in the way that the NFL works, right? In this weird, you know, semi-racially coded, and I don't want to get in that, but let's really have that conversation. You need to be obedient to this other grown man. That I need obedience from you. That's what I need. And if I see any semblance of non-obedience, if you dare think that you are slightly bigger than the program, have any value other than the value we give you as an organization, hey man, we done with you, bruh. Nah, man, I don't like your confidence. I don't like how you roll. I don't do it. So I believe Tom McShay did this. I believe Shedeur got mad that you set him up. He probably thought y'all was just having a conversation. And for those people who say, well, why doesn't Shedeur act like because he's not normal. I'm sorry, guys. The world's not fair, and Shedeur Sanders is a Sanders. Nepotism is nepotism for a reason. I would love to sit here and say, oh my God, nepotism, but that's how it works. That's how the real world works. Shedeur isn't Jackson Dart. So he doesn't have to act like Jackson Dart. That's how everywhere in the world, that's how it works. But the NFL wants to have their place where, nah, I need to put you in this cookie cutter situation. Otherwise, you're not worthy. So, I got the Dogs podcast tweeting out. Mary Kay is tweeting out. And I need the Giants, not the Giants. I need the Browns to listen closely.
No rant. I got nothing for you. You're 2-7. You stink. Get them all out. Everybody. Andrew Berry, goodbye. I want everybody gone. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna make it my business to make your life miserable. If you don't have the guts to blow this horrific thing up, Jimmy Haslam, shame on you. Shame on you. It's time. No one's going to blame you, bud. Promise. No one. You're not going to lose anything. You're not going to... Andrew's not going to just suddenly start making great deals and picking good players for another team. Don't worry about it. Get a football guy in here with a little analytics background and get an ass-kicking coach and let's go.
It's over. I'm very happy that Brian Daboll got what he deserved. Not because I think Brian Daboll is a bad person. I just think he's a spineless person. And I think that's what you need. Sometimes you need a little bit of spinelessness to achieve in this awful NFL. But the truth shall set you free. And the truth's been in front of us the whole time.
Aren't you guys curious why I always say I hate rookies? You just don't know how to be a professional.
After 11 weeks, what was Brian Daboll doing? Brian. Hey, man, look. If you're going to leak things about people, true or otherwise, right, you should probably expect some things to be leaked about you. And not only did things get leaked about it, we've talked about that in the Jameis Winston video, But now even more things have been leaked out because of Abdul Carter missing a practice and being sidelined for a few plays. So we're going to go through this few thing. And it all links back to Brian Daboll's lack of instilling a real culture at the Giants front office, at the Giants team as a whole. So here it is. Dan Duggan, I'm not sure who he is, but this report is corroborated, so don't you worry. Sources: the Giants rookie linebacker Abdul Carter was benched for the opening drive of yesterday's loss to the Packers for missing a walkthrough. Carter was asleep in the team facility at the time of the walkthrough. And then Alex Wilson goes on to say, Abdul Carter apparently has been late to meetings all season, and it took until week 11 and Mike Kafka becoming interim head coach for consequences to happen. Again, what was Brian Daboll doing this entire time? Hey, probably lying. That's what he was probably doing. But no, in all seriousness, you know, I wanna have a real conversation because we got the stats and facts here. And shout out to Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter's gonna be a dog. You know, people are getting mad at him because he doesn't have a bunch of sacks. He's on the same team with the Brian Burns, who's second in sacks in the NFL. I think his pressures in appearance there, in presence helps. Also, Kayvon Thibodeau's on the same team. Dexter Lawrence is on the same. Like, there's a lot of big bad dogs in the pass rush. He's gonna be just fine, right? Now, not to mention that Abdul Carter was playing off ball instead of just being an edge rusher when Brian Daboll was there. But we don't have to get into that. So Brian Daboll has vehemently denied that. He says when the hate don't work, they start telling lies. And of course, I mean, yo, we gotta take Twitter away. And I hate this. This is my old head take. I just want everybody to know this is a real old head of me. We got to get these kids off Twitter. Y'all can't be responding to leaks with your own Twitter account. Nobody's going to believe you, dog. But this is what he's saying. And then here we go. Maybe he should get that 56 after all, which, I mean, that's I appreciate him for having a good sense of humor. If y'all don't know, please go look it up. Lawrence Taylor was known for sleeping through the actual team meetings. They would wake him up when they needed him. They would let him go back to sleep. Obviously, he was partying and doing so much crack that, you know, it was what it was. So, you know, I do think you got to be a bit of a psychopath to be a great edge rusher. I'm not here to shit on Abdul Carter. I'm here to shit on the liar known as Brian Daboll. You know, the same person who leaked concerning things about Shedeur Sanders, and everybody had to believe it, right? Man, oh man, hey, why don't we release the Shedeur files? I want to see them, because somebody pointed out after that came out, wait a minute, wasn't Brian Daboll with his feet just kicked up on the table with Roma Dunze, one of the top wide receivers at the time in the draft when they were talking to him in Hard Knocks? This is the quality that he shows you when he knows the cameras are on, guys. This is my big thing. When people know the cameras are on, they're gonna treat them. They're gonna give you a higher level of themselves. Hopefully, I hope to God he was trying to be a respectful man. This is you interviewing one of the top wide receivers in the draft. He is looking straight forward, hands crossed. Hey, I don't know what you got going on. Am I supposed to take you serious? Man, oh man. And again, at the facility, none of the 100 people at the facility thought maybe to wake him up. Nobody woke him up. And this is, hey, this is a Giants fan. He says Abdul Carter is the focus here, but multiple players don't follow rules and practices in that locker room. There was no accountability under Daboll. If you let people get away with things, they will. You all do it in your workplace every single day. So this has been a trend this season. Abdul Carter is only just now being disciplined after 11 weeks. What was Brian Daboll doing? Man, oh man. And we're going to actually read it. Obviously, New York Giants first round pick vehemently denied Tuesday that he slept through a walkthrough practice last week and said he was getting treatment at the facility. So to give to give Abdul Carter some bail, because I think he's going to be a dog. I think he's going to be just all right. He said that he was getting treatment. What this sounds like, and there's other reports also that Mike Kafka changed the time of the walkthrough, you know, in that same week. So maybe that's some issue. I'm cool. This is not even about Abdul Carter. I promise you, it's not about him. It's about the type of people that are allowed to say things and people believe, right? Everybody was believing when the Giants leaked that stuff about Shedeur. Now, I've said on multiple occasions, hey, do I think Shedeur might have had a bad day or did some bad things in the meeting? Maybe not. I will believe, and I can believe that, hey, Brian Daboll's account was Shedeur didn't bring his A game. It wasn't what we liked. Okay. But there's two sides to every story, right? So if I look at the other side of the story, I'm looking at someone in Brian Daboll now who has, we went over in the last video, has a history of blowing up on the sideline, has a history of wrongfully yelling at people, has a history of allowing people, right, to miss workouts, let things slip under the rug, not set a culture. You ran your star quarterback into the ground, right? You ran him into the dirt with the most amount of rushing attempts out of all quarterbacks in the NFL. He only started after week 4 or 5 or something like that. So he was really on that horse, right? And then, because it doesn't just end here. It doesn't end here. And again, Scatterboo, we all love Scatterboo. I don't care who you are. Everybody loves Scatterboo. Now you got Cam Scatterboo defending himself because he was out during Monday Night Raw. And look, shout out to Cam Scatterboo. He's been doing his Twitch streaming thing. Hey, it's real crazy. And he's injured. He's injured. So, let him live. I'm going to let him live. I just think it's an interesting comparison when certain quarterbacks, right, certain people go out and they do things in extracurriculars and they might do a Twitch or they might have, cameras and stuff following them, XYZ. But you got Cam Scatterboo showing up to WWE loud and proud with the Grizzles in. Hey, shining too. Hey, that boy shining too with the big chain. Cam, I'm not mad at you, Cam. I'm not. Hey, do your thing. Me and you, Cam Scatterboo, we about the same age. We around the same age. Do your thing, man. I grew up watching wrestling. I'm not mad at you. However, TJ Ward, right, a part of a legendary Super Bowl winning Broncos defense. Check my stats. That's TJ Ward, right? You feel me? This how you make sure you have a short NFL career. That's not me saying it. I don't even think that. But NFL players do. Former NFL players do. Dang, man. That's crazy, man. And you right next to Andrew Schultz. Isn't this... We ain't even got to get into Andrew Schultz. You know Andrew Schultz was over there in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, he was doing that Oil Blood Money comedy show, wasn't it? Big Schultz, wasn't you over there where they had the slaves at telling jokes? It was funny, huh? And there he is right next to Cam Scatterboo. Dang, dog. And again, Cam Scatterboo, you good? I'm not mad at you. You hurt. You do your thug dizzle. But this is the type of things that he allowed to be okay in the locker room. So now they're out there doing WWE, thinking everything's cool. Tweeting stuff out like, hey guys, honestly, if you don't like that I'm having a good time while dealing with a tough time, then just go ahead and unfollow. Casually move on. I'm not able to play football and have the fun I've been having my whole life, so I'm doing things outside the box. Trying stuff to keep me happy, right? Enjoy the rest of y'all's week. Just don't talk about me if you ain't got nothing nice to say. Hey, Cam, you go crazy. Cam Scatterboo, and you notice I hate when people blame Brian Daboll for Cam Scatterboo's injury. Have you seen Cam Scatterboo in Arizona State? He would bash his head against a concrete wall. Cam Scatterboo got injured because of the brand of football he plays. There's nothing wrong with that because he plays a really great and a physical brand of football. I'm not mad at you, Cam. I don't think there's anything wrong going to WWE. I think it's fresh. Do your thing. You injured, you hurt, you do whatever. And I'm almost certain. I think Brian Daboll was there. Abdul Carter. And that's where we bring it back to, he's right here. I can't play the video because the WWE is crazier than the NFL when it comes to copyrights. I ain't gonna play that game. But also, a lot of people are coming to Cam Scatterboo's defense. He's just having a good time. All I'm gonna say is when certain other people do harmless things, just have a good time, you be seeing some nasty comments, man. I see them. You see them. Some of y'all make them nasty comments. Not my audience. But I know there's some people who are coming here to leave a hate comment. You feel me? I know that's your favorite thing to do. It's to judge people enjoying themselves. Cam, keep doing your thing, Cam. Keep going crazy, Cam. But sadly, you're another example of what Brian Daboll's lasting effects on the Giants will be. Stunting the growth of these rookie players, these phenomenal rookie players. Abdul Carter's going to be a dog. Cam Scatterboo, everything heals up great. Continue to be a dog. Jackson Dart is a dog. I hope they didn't turn his brain to mashed potatoes because you don't know how to coach a player to protect himself, right? Because you were coaching for your career, Brian Daboll. We talked about that. We talked about what happens when animals get backed into corners. And Brian Daboll, you were a desperate animal. Sorry it didn't work out. I'm sorry everything's getting exposed. And now every single week what's going to happen, because it's going to continue to happen, you're going to keep seeing the remnants of what Brian Daboll did to that culture. That's what you're going to see. And it is a reflection of the things that you said, that you leaked and you reported. How can I believe anything that Brian Daboll said? He can't even get his players to show up to meetings. I'm supposed to believe you? You got your feet kicked up in a draft interview, and I'm supposed to believe that you didn't go into the draft interview with some sort of malice, right? I'm supposed to think that the same person who often sets traps, he sets traps in the whiteboard. I'm intentionally put a mistake and force you to fix it. I'm supposed to think that you're conducting things in good faith? I'm sure you've got a method, Brian Daboll. It didn't work. Sorry about it. You picked a good quarterback. Jackson Dart, I think, he's going to keep balling out for whoever they hire, right, for the Giants. I think he's got a bright future. And I tell you, and I'm going to keep saying it every time I talk about Jackson Dart, I was wrong. It's okay to be wrong, right? I told y'all I didn't trust Ole Miss quarterbacks. Jackson Dart said, take this white boy swagger and give it to it. And we ain't even got to get into that conversation about how the moxie's okay, but certain people's swagger isn't. We ain't even got to get there. Because there's channels that going to talk about it anyway. I ain't even got to talk about that. I'm just talking about the failure that is Brian Daboll. Let's go into detail here. New York Giants first round pick Abdul Carter vehemently denied Tuesday that he slept through a walkthrough practice last week. Reports surfaced on Monday, a day after Carter was benched for the opening series of the 27-22 loss for the Green Bay Packers, that Carter was asleep during a walkthrough practice last week. Carter said the new head coach Mike Kafka changed the normal practice time, so that is what he's saying. And he didn't realize the change was made until he was in treatment at the time he was used to. And it was too late. Carter said he spoke to Kafka about it on FaceTime call later that day. My mistake was an honest mistake, Carter told ESPN on Tuesday. I own the fact that it was an honest mistake. I was getting treatment, and I told Coach Kafka that too. But to say I was sleeping at the time just wasn't true. And it also wasn't a trend. This was the only time it happened. So again, Abdul Carter says that it's the only time it happened. You know, that's not what the reports are. That's not what the reports say, big dog. I don't know. Am I supposed to believe the rookie, or am I supposed to believe these anonymous reports? Hey, for certain people only believe the anonymous reports. I'm just giving y'all the facts. I'm just reading it off. Hey, Abdul Carter says this all a fugazi. So, hey man, that boy good at football. If you believe him, let me know. Carter was expected to start Sunday in place of the injured Kayvon Thibodeau. Instead, Tomlin Fox played the first 6 defensive snaps before the Packers punted. Kafka didn't want to discuss the incident and said the team was keeping the matter in-house. The number 3 pick in the draft took offense offense to the reports of him sleeping. Carter felt he needed to speak out because he believes what had been reported unfairly tarnishes his name and reputation. I don't want anonymous sources to say these things about me that are untrue, Carter said. I did make a mistake and I own up to what I did. Hey man, say man, look, it gets real nasty when these anonymous reports come out. But hey, good old Tings is actually going to give you the accounts of what the players say. So it's up to you to believe it, right? Now, I am someone who thinks that the truth is always in between the anonymous reports and what he's saying. I think that he probably did have treatment a little too late. Mike Kafka probably did change the time. But at the end of the day, Abdul Carter, you still missed it, right? And I'm sure you were late, right? Because that's the thing. He says, hey, that's the only time I didn't miss. He didn't say it was the only time he was late. You know what I'm saying? The report said you was late to the meetings. But hey, good on you, Mike. Good. Hey, I like how you did it, Abdul. I like how you kind of moonwalked around that conversation. I feel you. I feel you. And I believe you. I really do. Now, the only reason why I bring this up is because, well, Tings, why do you think this is a coaching thing? Because George Pickens and what's his name? CeeDee Lamb, I forgot his name, were both benched for the opening series versus the Raiders. Let's read into it. So Las Vegas Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were kept on the bench for the first series of the night against the Raiders. Brian Schottenheimer, I don't know how to say his name, informed the players of disciplinary action earlier Monday. There were some things that were missed, so we had a conversation with those guys, and that was easy. So wow. Wow. Coach S, who did not get into specifics of what was missed, but you look at the energy those guys play with. They literally jump-started the offense when they got back in. They didn't hang their heads. They didn't do any of that stuff. That's why I love those guys. Lamb returned on the first play of the Cowboys' second series. Pickens was in for the second play of that series. Lamb finished with 5 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown, while Pickens tied a career high with 9 catches, 144 yards, and a 37-yard touchdown. Speaking to reporters on Monday, Lamb would not discuss why he and Pickens were benched for the opening drive. I'm not going to go in depth on that, Lamb said. Hopefully, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not. And hey, that's how you do it. So again, this is, as much as we like making fun of the Cowboys over here, because I'm a Texans fan, you feel me? I gotta poke at the star from time to time. As much as I love to do that, there's a head coach that is not only disciplining, but he's actually disciplining probably some of the two biggest stars on his team. Okay, well, you think that's the only instance? Nope. Here we go. Keon Coleman. Here is Keon Coleman. The reports were that he got benched as well. He was a healthy scratch. He was completely benched, right? This is what his head coach had to say about Keon Coleman, right?
Healthy scratch today. What went into that? I think it's been out there. I believe Joe he was late for a team meeting, and so that was my decision.
How frustrating is that when this has occurred more than once and you've already tried to send that message to, how important it is to be on time and to be in those meetings?
Yeah, it is disappointing, but I still believe in the young man, and we get to a certain point and I've got to do something. I try and give the guys kind of a strike approach. Hey, you get a chance to show your teammates that's not really who you are, and then when it happens again, then I step in. So I believe he will learn from it. He takes it seriously, and he will move forward in a way of growing from this, and that's the whole goal.
So, again, these are two very high-level instances of star players, right? And you could argue, is Keon Coleman a star? Because he does things, like this and just completely gives up on routes, gives up on plays. There's been a big issue with Keon Coleman. Wide receiver catch rates on passes for throwing 30-plus yards down the field in the 2024-2025 season, including playoffs. So, again, this was in both seasons combined up to this date, the best are George Pickens, obviously. Jackson Smith-Njigba, that boy going crazy. Devontae Smith will catch anything. He'll catch a cold in the desert. Worst is Jalen Hyatt, former Tennessee player. Troy Franklin, Dontavius Wicks, and Keon Coleman, the 6'4" big body jump ball player, has one of the worst catch rates on deep balls. It's not a great look. It's not a great put together. And here is Keon Coleman responding to that situation.
Just your thoughts on not being able to today.
Just got to be better.
Was there something that happened that led to this?
Pretty sure everybody already knew that, so I'm going to leave that where it's at, but just got to be better. Focus on next week.
Second time this year, Keon, is there a lesson that needs to be learned that you're not learning at this point? Is that what it is?
What you mean?
This is the second time that something like this has happened to you this year. Is there a message not being received? Give me a better way to ask it.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So why is this the second time this year?
Again, mistakes happen, things happen, but again, got to be better.
How would you describe your conversations with Sean McDermott?
Exactly how you would imagine. Disappointing. I got to be better.
How do you get better?
Doing what I'm supposed to do, doing the right things, being what I'm supposed to be.
And because this is my problem with the general media. Y'all be asking the same question in 15 different ways. Well, how do you do it? How are you gonna solve that problem? Ain't nobody care about that. Anyway, the point that needs to be focused on is that in both of these situations, these aren't rookies. These are elite players at their position. These are second-year players with a lot of expectations, right? The fact that this situation spiraled out of control for Brian Daboll is probably why he's unemployed and is probably going to be looking for the Penn State job, and probably why he won't be able to coach at a head coaching level successfully at the National Football League. I'm sure you can go crazy with Penn State. You can kick your feet up, enjoy yourself, Brian Daboll. But let us know, and we'll be here for another weekly report of when Brian Daboll's culture and how it set the Giants back. But y'all let me know how you feel down in the comments. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't. Subscribe if you like football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, fashions, and factors. I know I got a Rocket shirt on. I got a rep Houston.
Whoops. How
Patriots and gets
Your quarterback does not want to live anymore. Yeah, the Giants are approaching Browns' level of absolute stupidity. Currently, the Giants have a 5-25 record in their last 30 games, and this is the second game that their first-round overall pick, Abdul Carter, was benched from a coach's decision. Now, apparently, from Wesley Steinberg, who, he reports that Giants defensive end Abdul Carter will miss the first drive tonight for disciplinary reasons after getting caught watching corn in a team meeting with his headphones disconnected. What? That boy was rubbing one out during the team meeting a few weeks ago. He was asleep in the meeting. Now he's looking at Sarah J and Alexis Texas. That's a throwback to you. What's going on? You watching Mia Khalifa videos? You watching OnlyFans video? Now it's just a joke. He was this is one of those troll stand pages, whatever, that does stuff. Now, oddly enough, he tweeted this out before the game, and everybody's like, we're joking. It's a joke. And then we find out, and when the game started, that no, number 3 overall pick, Abdul Carter, did not play the opening possession. Feels like discipline once again, the second time in 3 weeks under head coach Mike Kafka. And I want to say, Brian Daboll, you are a terrorist. You have somehow set the Giants back even further, right? I don't know how, because it was reported earlier that Mike Daboll was allowing this to happen. He just allowed Abdul Carter to show up late, to sleep in the interviews and different things like that. So we're going to get deeper there. We're also going to talk about the fact that Jackson Dart does not want to live anymore. Can we be honest? He plays football like he wants to jump off a cliff. I don't know what's wrong with this dude. Do you just not want to listen to what's his name, John Gruden? Like I don't understand. What? Look at this. Going to the sideline. Like, he went flying. And then Theo Johnson wants to get all big and bad. Hey, how about you catch the football Jackson Dart throws to you, huh? How about catch the touchdown he threw to you instead of getting all big and bad because of a legal hit? It's a legal hit. I'm sorry, Giants fan. Your quarterback does not want to live anymore. He doesn't want to breathe anymore. And you know what? I can't. Can you blame him? Because our guy Young Ho Koo, everybody's favorite kicker, Young Ho Koo, does something we never. What is this? What? This boy had a Looney Tunes kickoff. Young Ho Koo, man, and I'm not a Falcons fan, but I live in Georgia. I've seen a lot of Young Ho Koo disaster classes. This is next level stuff. I've never seen. He missed it. He. It's like when, I don't know. Have you ever been to Top Golf? I'll be breaking them drivers in Top Golf. I'll be chopping grass in Top Golf, dog. Or if you really golf for real, this is like you hitting the grass before you golf. Like, what is going on? And then you gonna leave your guy out here? He just running backwards. He looking around. Fire drill. What in the world is? Look at this. And then he gonna look up like it's a problem. How? I need someone to comment down below. How do you mess up a kickoff that bad? And gotta feel bad for Jackson Dart. I mean, he said, "Oh my God." Yeah, man. I gotta feel bad for Jackson Dart. 5-25 record in the last 30 games. The Giants employed a liar in Brian Daboll. He clearly lied about Shedeur Sanders. I mean, that's clear to see. He went ahead and drafted Jackson Dart and said, "Hey, Jackson Dart, we're going to make you the most run quarterback in the league. You're going to get a concussion and be out for 3 weeks. And as soon as you go back, we're going to send your ass flying into..." Does the team even like Jackson Dart? Like, do the head coach like him? I mean, I'm starting to have a real nasty feeling about this. They sending that man out there to die every day. Just go out there and die, Jackson Dart. Like, why? I thought we liked Jackson Dart. I thought he was a talented guy. Hey, man. So Jackson Dart in the day. Get to some stats and facts. He was 17 for 24 for 139, 5.8 average. That's Dylan Gabriel numbers. 1 touchdown, 2 sacks, 99 rating though. Now the future MVP, Drake May, 24 for 31, 281, 9.1 average, 2 tutters, 3 sacks, 126 rating. Hey, that boy Travion Henderson, shout out to Ohio State. That boy gets real nasty. That boy real nice. Now the running game was big for the Giants as well. Devin Singletary went for 12 rushes for 68 yards. Tyrone Lacey, who prayers up to Tyrone Lacey, he actually went out. I didn't know who this dude was, but he was making a lot of decent runs and a lot of important runs, right? The average is probably not going to speak for him, especially with Devin Singletary. I mean, he was carving things up, 5.7 average and a touchdown, 22 long, but it really felt like Tyrone Lacey was being called on in very specific moments, very important moments in the game. So it was great to see that. Great to see him show up. The receivers weren't doing much for him, you know what I'm saying, for old Jackson Dart. And, you know, if I had a team this incompetent, so much that our third overall pick is jacking it before meetings, and he can't show up to meetings, I would probably feel some type of way. Now, he didn't actually do this. Let's get into the actual reporting about this, because we talked about this weeks ago, right? We talked about when this initially happened, right? It says sources, Giants rookie linebacker, and this was back in so this was, it wasn't even that long ago. It was November 17th. I thought that was like 4 weeks ago. So November 17th, rookie linebacker Abdul Carter was benched for the opening drive of yesterday's loss for Packers for missing a walkthrough. Now, Abdul Carter immediately tweeted out he was not asleep. He was actually doing recovery, and he said, "That's on me. XYZ LMNOP." So he was very adamant about not doing it, but I really think it's just Brian Daboll creating a terrible environment for these young players. You got your star quarterback ramming his head into everybody, and then you've got Abdul Carter, who apparently can't put headphones in while he's yakking it in a team meeting. So let's get into the actual reporting, because that's not what happened. What actually happened is Carter was benched Monday for the second time in 3 games under interim head coach Mike Kafka for a violation of team rules pertaining to missing all or part of a team responsibility, a league source told the Post. Multiple sources said Carter's tardiness has been a reoccurring trend during his rookie season, yet it does not appear that former head coach Brian Daboll disciplined him unless a private fine was issued. Other team sources have refuted that Carter has a habit of running late. So, I mean, I don't know what other sources have to say. I don't need any more sources. He's been late to multiple team meetings in under 3 weeks. That is a terrible environment. And you know where environments and leadership is built from your head coach. From your head coach. And Brian Daboll showed that he would lie on people. He showed that, when he was interviewing people, he'll just kick his feet up. I mean, look how uncomfortable Rome Odunze looks. He'll kick his feet up during interviewing rookies and things like that. Brian Daboll set up a terrible, awful scenario for these Giants, and now they've got to deal with the Patriots doing this to them.
Dominant.
First. Hey man, I couldn't have said it better. I really couldn't have said it better myself. So I really don't care about people refuting anything. Clearly, Brian Daboll has set up an environment that allows their rookies to come in whenever they feel like it. Just stroll in, roll in, feel good, and do good. So 2 weeks ago, Carter missed a 15-minute walkthrough while he was in red light therapy bed in the training facility. Some people say he was asleep, but hey, man, the tweets say differently. Carter admittedly denied that he was sleeping, though the walkthrough claiming was part of the recovery regimen. Regimen. Man, I can't speak today. It was not immediately clear whether Carter skipped or was late to a meeting or a walkthrough or practice for his second public penalty. The Giants confirmed to the ESPN broadcast that Carter's benching was a coaching decision right here.
Why didn't Abdul Carter play in the first quarter of this game?
That was a coach's decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a coach's decision because that boy was watching Mia Khalifa in the team meeting room, right? So, not a great setup. I got a feel for the Giants fans. Again, you got a quarterback that doesn't want to breathe air. You got a top 3 pick that doesn't want to show up to meetings. But, if you're going to succeed in the NFL, you probably need to show up to meetings on time. But like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like football content. Be great. We'll see you next time. Peace.